Your identity isn't just one single thing, right? So why should your digital ID be? Today, we are diving into a huge shift in how we prove who we are online. We're talking about moving from a single, kind of old school card to a dynamic, secure wallet that you and only you get to control. Let's get into it. Just think about it for a second. Right now, your online identity is pretty much just a username and a password. But what if it could be, well, more? What if you could securely prove different things about yourself, like that you're over 21 or that you have a specific degree, without having to share all of your personal details every single time?
And that's really the core idea we're talking about today. It's about reimagining what identity even means online. It's a system that's designed from the ground up to put you back in the driver's seat of your own data. So, here's the best way to picture it. Instead of one physical ID with all your info plastered on it, your name, address, date of birth, the whole shebang, imagine you have a digital wallet. And inside this wallet are dozens of individual verified cards. Maybe one proves you're a college graduate, another proves your job title. You just show the one card you need for the one thing you need to prove. You control what you share and when you share it.
Okay, so how is this even possible? I mean, it sounds great, but what's the magic behind it? Well, the key is a really fundamental change in the technology itself. We're moving away from these old centralized systems to a distributed network. And trust me, that changes absolutely everything. This slide really just lays it all out. On the left, that's the old way of doing things. One central company, one government, holds all your data. And if they get hacked, well, so does your info. It's a huge single point of failure. But on the right, in a distributed network, that power is shared across lots of trusted organizations. It's a system built on shared trust, which makes it so much more resilient. And this brings us to a super important concept in this new world, specifically within something called the UID framework. You have these things called independent verification authorities. Now that sounds technical, but it's really simple. These are just qualified organizations we already trust. Think universities, government agencies, professional groups that can now issue and verify these digital credentials directly. So the main takeaway here is this. Moving from a centralized to a distributed model isn't just a bunch of tech jargon, it fundamentally changes who's in charge. The power moves away from that one central gatekeeper and goes to a whole network of verifiers. And ultimately, it comes right back to you. So, if the power is shifting to this network of verifiers, how does that actually work for them? Well, this new foundation gives organizations some really powerful new tools to become a part of this ecosystem of trust. A key feature in the newest version of this system, UIID 1.8, is something called corporate verifier status. This lets companies and other organizations become active players in the verification game, not just sitting on the sidelines. And here's what that actually means they can do. A company could, say, verify an employee's role within the organization. They could issue a custom digital badge for completing a training program. Or they could even let users request specific verifications to build up the credibility in their digital wallets. And the process for you, the user, is incredibly simple. You apply for some kind of credential, like a certified professional badge. The organization checks that you meet the criteria. They issue a secure, tamper-proof digital badge, and boom, it's right there in your wallet, ready for you to use whenever and wherever you need it. It's all about being simple and user-focused. Okay, so we've covered the tech and the how. Now for the really fun part. What does this actually let us do in the real world? This is where all that theory becomes a reality. There's this great quote that I think just sums it up perfectly. Digital identity is no longer limited. It becomes a dynamic set of verified claims. In other words, your identity stops being the static thing and starts becoming this living, breathing collection of true facts about you, your skills, your qualifications, your memberships.
The applications for this are honestly almost limitless, but here are some of the most powerful examples that are already starting to take shape. Let's just run through a few. Think about this one. Instead of showing your driver's license with your full address and exact birth date just to get into a bar, you just show a credential that says one thing: verified over 18. That's it. You get maximum privacy because you're sharing the absolute minimum amount of data necessary. Or what about applying for jobs? Instead of waiting around for your old university to mail a paper transcript, they can just issue you a secure, digitally verified degree. It's instant, it's trustworthy, and it saves everybody a whole lot of time and hassle. Now, for professionals, I'm talking doctors, lawyers, engineers, this is a total game changer. Imagine a digital license that cannot be faked and can be checked by a client or an employer in just a few seconds. That builds a massive amount of trust.
So we've seen what's possible right now, but this whole UID framework, it's really built for the future. You can think of it as a platform for innovating on the very idea of what trust means online. And that, of course, leads to the really big question. If we can verify a degree or a professional license so easily, what else could we verify? This is where things start to get really creative. The people building this stuff are already exploring some fascinating ideas. Imagine getting a verified digital badge just for attending a conference, or having a colleague issue a secure endorsement for one of your skills that you can then show to a future employer. You could even get a credential verifying your participation in an environmental program. The potential is just massive. Now, if this has sparked your curiosity and you want to see it for yourself, you can actually jump in and check it out. You can explore this growing ecosystem and even apply for your very own digital identity at the link you see right there on the screen. So let's just end with this thought. We are moving into a world where our digital identity isn't just one thing anymore. It's becoming this rich, dynamic collection of verified credentials that we get to control. So the final question is, what will your digital identity say about you?